Hey everyone, I'm Tamara and welcome to my channel, Tam Psych Advice. Today we're going to talk about the ENFP and the INTJ relationship, and I think this is going to be really interesting. I think this is a really interesting combination. So if you look at it, both types are intuitive, but they're actually different on every single other letter. Isn't that fascinating? So there are also different temperaments. If you like to look at temperaments, one is an NF and one is an NT. But I think generally speaking, NFs and NTs can actually connect quite well with each other. So off the top of my head, I'm just going to tell you what stands out for me, and then I'll delve a little bit deeper or be a little bit more detailed as we go along. But what stands out to me is I think this couple can actually have a lot of fun together. I think they can ignite each other and it can really work really well. I think they can have so much fun together actually, because I think the ENFP is going to be very energetic, a lot of fun. They're super honest about how they feel. I always say in my videos, they have a clarity and a clearness and a directness that's a feeler version of directness, because they speak their mind. They have a way of making people feel incredibly comfortable and at ease. They are empathetic. They are interested in the person that they're with, or with people in general. It's kind of like, how you doing? Let me find out more about you. I mean, they're just good at helping you to open up. I think it's pretty easy to talk to them about difficult issues. For example, I'm making this video at the end of 2020. We've been through a pandemic. We've been through all kinds of unrest. And I think ENFPs would be an easy person to talk to about a variety of topics. They kind of make you feel safe and at ease. So I think they're going to bring a lot of fun to the INTJ. And the INTJ is just going to ride that out. Like, wow, like this is so much fun. They bring out the fun side INTJ, which is a welcome break for the INTJ, because INTJs can have a more serious side and a more perfectionistic side, whereas the ENFP is like, look at my flaws. My elbows are ugly. Look at these shoes. They're squeaking and they're talking. I just said the stupidest thing. I mean, they're very open with their flaws. They show you who they are, which can be quite difficult for a lot of types to do. But they believe in honesty as far as being true to who you are. And that might be a little bit more difficult for the INTJ, who maybe wants to show themselves in a certain light, with a certain amount of professionalism or perfection. So the NFP is gonna really give them a welcome break and just open the floodgates of fun, and the INTJ is gonna ride that wave and really enjoy themselves. By the same token, in romantic love, that can be a very vulnerable place to be. And INTJ has the ability to give the ENFP a sense of stability, that everything is going to be okay, that you can trust me, that I'm committed to you. Like when I'm making a commitment to you, then you can trust that, and I'm going to check in with you to see what you're feeling, if you're doing okay. I'm going to be your steady, sturdy place to fall, so that you don't have to worry so much about is he leaving me or is she leaving me. They offer a solid ground, and because they are perfectionists in some ways, they're going to be perfectionistic in the relationship, in the sense that they're going to bring their A game when it's due, and they're going to do their best. They can actually be quite playful together. So because they're both intuitive, they're going to both look at the big picture. They're going to look at the possibilities. They're going to more than likely trust their gut on some things. They're going to be future oriented to some degree. They're going to look at implications and naturally question things. And they're going to be intrigued by global issues and enjoy sharing with each other their own personal perspectives. And I think they can both listen and take in new ideas because intuitives enjoy new ideas. So they can introduce each other to some newness that they will find interesting and that will keep the relationship intriguing. ENTJs are going to really love how ENFPs can be go with the flow, improvise, and also their enthusiasm and how easy of a time they have in social situations. Can also be funny, playful, and accepting of other people. On the other side of the coin, ENFPs are going to really enjoy INTJ's calmness, like their commitment to their intellectual pursuits and just that calm sturdiness. And they're going to like how they can kind of step back and keep their cool about things instead of getting, overly emotional and like freaking out about things. They can kind of be that steady, that calm, that rock, that, okay, I can figure this out, that quiet confidence. And they can also enjoy how they can get things done. ENFPs can help INTJs to tap into their more feeling side, to be more sensitive to people, and just to enjoy life and relax a little bit more. And they can also help them to be more patient and let things evolve a little bit more. On the other hand, INTJs can help ENFPs to focus a little bit more, to instead of being into like 10 different projects at a time, really narrowing their focus in on a couple of different things and finishing them to completion. And INTJs can be very good anyway at helping people or leading people to efficiency and to making things run smoothly. So that's an advantage of having an INTJ in your life. Some INTJs can adapt quite well socially, but this could be an area of conflict because ENFPs are going to enjoy spontaneous fun, spontaneous social events. Somebody's coming over, oh great, we'll entertain them. Whereas it might take an INTJ a little bit more time to warm up. The INTJ also might need more quiet time, more downtime, more reflective time. And an ENFP might start to feel a little restless if they have too much quiet time and not enough social time or time to connect. You know how things are in the beginning of a relationship, they can kind of be one way, but then as time goes on, some things that maybe you thought were kind of cute or you appreciate in the beginning could become a frustration later. So ENFPs, you might want to be a little cautious with, if you have the propensity to constantly ask an INTJ how they're feeling, remember they're not feelers, so they're not going to be thinking in that lane, and they may not even be connected to themselves in that way. So they're going to feel kind of like that doesn't even matter right now. It might become frustrating if you overdo it with checking in on how they're feeling. And then on the flip side of that, an ENFP is a definite feeler. So they're going to be in tune with their emotions and their feelings. And so therefore, an INTJ can seem insensitive sometimes towards them or other people, because INTJs, they can be tough. They're going to be logical. They're going to be objective. They are going to have high standards and expectations for themselves and for other people. And that could be a bit frustrating to an ENFP who may not understand that level of logic. And then you have to also remember an INTJ, they may be, I think they can kind of balance each other out in the sense that an INTJ is going to need more time to reflect and think through their thoughts, their ideas, their projects, whereas an ENFP is going to need to talk theirs out in order to kind of know what they're doing. But at the same time, an ENFP may not need closure as quickly as some other J types would. And so they're going to be a little bit more open and understanding to the INTJ, who is more introverted and who's going to also kind of play out some things inwardly before they just make a decision when it comes to certain things in life. So that can be a hindrance, but it also could work in their favor. Sometimes differences in types, differences in preferences can cause issues. So they have to be aware of that to a certain extent and be accepting of each other to a certain extent, because that J and that P can really, really clash, because the J, the INTJ, is going to feel more at ease when things are settled, when there's closure. That gives them a sense of peace and a sense of comfort to kind of know what the heck is going on and this is where we're going. Whereas that P, that perceiver, that ENFP, may not necessarily want to know where things are going in certain areas, because they like the surprise element. They like the ability to be able to change their mind midway, last minute. And that could frustrate an INTJ. Sometimes INTJs can be kind of go with the flow because they're kind of grounded and independent. INTJs, you want to kind of back off of that need to criticize or be too critical on the ENFP, because that could really wear them down and take some of that lightheartedness and that fun side away. ENFPs, I think the INTJ would appreciate it if occasionally you would schedule time for the two of you to do something special and enjoyable together so that they know what's coming. They may not always want to be interrupted with a, hey, let's go do this, when they're in the middle of something. INTJs, when you're in this relationship, it's important to embrace other ways of doing things, because INTJs are very confident and know how to get things done, but sometimes there are other ways to view things, so be open to that. NFPs, take interest in something that your INTJ mate is learning or doing, because everybody wants to feel important or understood or liked for something that they're doing. Also, be sure to do what you say you're gonna do. Hold yourself accountable, because that's gonna win you big points with the INTJ. And if you never follow through with things, that's going to probably anger or frustrate the INTJ. Mr. or Mrs. INTJ, make sure that you pay attention to when the ENFP does something nice or special for you and acknowledge it. Don't just or blow it off. They need that feedback and that affirmation. ENFPs, tap into that ability to accept people for who they are, because your INTJ mate is gonna like rituals and routines and to do things certain ways. They're also very independent, so respect that. Don't try to fight it. Some INTJs like to be on the go, and I know that there are probably some ENFPs actually that will claim to be introverted to a certain extent. So you just never know. Every person has a unique quality to them, but more than likely the ENFP is going to want to socialize more than the INTJ. So you might have to compromise on that. In fact, I would highly recommend that you compromise on it. Like, ENFP, if you want to be going out like 5 days a week, that's going to be too much for someone who doesn't like to do that. But INTJ, if you just want to retreat in your book or your computer or your work, that's not going to work for some people. If that's what you want to do every day of the month, you got to figure out some time when you're going to compromise and you're going to come together. So always remember the fun and keep the romance going. When you're feeling down in a crappy mood, it's hard to get out of it by simply thinking happy thoughts, especially these days. Check out my jewelry at the Etsy link below. You'll be amazed at how good it feels to wear something that shifts your mood and lifts your spirit. Imagine wearing something fun and feeling better at the same time. Check out my book, The Workplace Narcissist by Tamara Hunter Zyon on Amazon. Bye.